So today we are talking about proportional reasoning. So our essential question is, how can I use ratios and proportions to solve problems?
So let's talk about ratios and let's talk about proportions. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. So
a fraction.
That's what I was about to say. A proportion then is an equation. Wow, equation, what's that mean again?
It has an equal sign.
Right, stating that two fractions or ratios are equal.
Okay.
That's it. So let's solve.
Okay.
How do we solve a proportion? It's called cross multiply.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So we would take the 15 times the 7.
Which is 105.
I don't know. Thanks, Ms. Young.
We need a calculator for that.
And then we do the 2.5
times x, which is
so
just
we
2.5x.
multiply it again. So this equals 2.5x.
And look at what we're doing. We're solving a linear equation.
Yeah.
Divide both sides by 2.5. And when you divide by 2.5, you get 42.
All right. So your answer is just 42.
And we're done there.
Nice.
Let's do the other one.
Yeah.
Little more tricky.
All right. So again, we're cross multiplying. Oh, anytime we have a plus or minus, we have to keep it together. So we have to do parentheses.
Nice.
So now we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to do the 4 times 9 plus x.
We're going to set that equal to 15.
5 times 15.
Yep.
15 times 5.
Right.
Okay.
So should we draw? Okay, we'd have the
So
two x's
here-
showing cross multiplying. Yes, there we go.
So here we have to distribute. So 4 times 9
Is 36
plus 4x
is equal to
equals
75.
Thank you.
Now look at the left side, look at the right side of the equation. We can't simplify,
Nope.
so let's just start combining. Well, I said that wrong. We want to keep moving. We want to keep the x on the left side, so we're going to move the 36.
So I get 4x
Is equal to
equals
39.
Wonderful.
Divide both sides by 4. And when you do that, we don't get a nice number, actually. You get a decimal, 9.75.
And that's okay. We get decimals in
Yeah,
that.
and that is all right.
All right.
So now, because percents can be expressed as ratios, you can use the proportion to solve percent problems. The key to remembering is a percent. When you're given a percent, you're going to write that as a fraction. So 30% is the same as 30 over 100.
So to get the 0.3, we move the decimal 2 spots to get 0.3.
Yes.
And then that's in the tenths hundredth spot. So that's why we put 30 over 100.
Correct.
Okay.
And so whenever you're given a percent, you're going to write that number over 100, and you're going to set that equal to part over whole. And I think you'll understand what we mean more when we go to the example.
This is key. Make sure you remember that.
Here we go. We're going to do example number 2 right now. A poll taken one day before an election showed that 22.5% of voters plan to vote for a certain candidate. If 1,800 voters participated in the poll, how many indicated that they plan to vote for the candidate?
Okay, I'm just going to write this again because you always want percent over 100, part over whole.
Correct.
Which is on the other page.
Yes.
So then you go through here and you look at, oh, I have percentage, so that I'm going to use.
And you're going to
so
write 22.5 over 100.
So it's always 100.
And you're going to set that equal to, now we got to think, is 1,800 the part or is 1,800 the whole?
Right. It says it showed that 22.5% of voters plan to vote for a certain candidate.
Right.
1,800 of the voters participated, so that's all of them.
That's all of them.
that's
So
gonna go in the
1,800 is the
I'm gonna
whole,
put that on the bottom.
and your part is x.
All right.
And look what we have, a proportion.
We're just going to solve it.
We're going to cross multiply.
So we got 100x
Is equal to 22.5 times 1,800.
Which is
40,500.
Thank you.
And we divide both sides now by 100.
100. Which you shouldn't use your calculator for this because how many zeros are on 100?
2.
So then we just cross off 2.
And you get
we're left with
405. So 405 is the part. How many it says how many indicated that they plan to vote for that candidate? 405.
All right.
So now let's go down to part, or example 3, I should say. At Clay High School, 434 students. or 35% of the students play a sport.
So that's part. It already told me. I'm
Right.
going to write that right away so I don't forget. Okay.
How many students does the high school have?
So they want to know
They want to know the whole. So maybe let's rewrite that again. Let's do percent over 100.
Yep.
You should get in the habit of doing this. Is equal to part over whole. So right away we have our percent, 35.
Okay.
So 35 over 100 is equal to 434. That's our part over x. We're solving for the total number of students. Let's
Okay.
cross multiply.
Now I'm going to quick stop
Oh,
on Ms.
sure.
Young. So even though it said 35%, we didn't have to move the decimal 2 spots and then do all that.
Correct.
Because we already know that if you move it 2 spots, it's 0.35. Well, then you put it over 35 over 100. So just take your percentage, get rid of the percent, put it over 100.
Right,
We're
because
good.
in the last problem, remember, it was 22.5. We
Yeah.
just took the 22.5 over 100.
Perfect.
Cross multiply
All right, so we get 35x.
is equal to, we shouldn't need a calculator here.
No, I'm just going to write it.
434,
And then we got 2 zeros.
0, 0.
0, 0.
Divide both sides by 35. And when we do that, we get x is equal to 1240, 1240. That is the total number of students that Clay High School has.
Nice.
We gave you 2 examples. There, let's go on. We're going to talk about what a rate is. A
Okay.
rate is a ratio. Oh, a ratio.
Oops.
What did we say a ratio was?
Just a
fraction. That involves, now look at the difference here. A rate involves 2 different units. So miles per hour, words per minute, dollars per gallon. That is a rate.
Okay.
So let's do example 4. Ryan ran 600 meters and counted 482 strides.
Okay.
How long is Ryan's stride in meters?
Okay. So we've got meters.
Right?
That's one of our units.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got
Strides.
strides. So that's kind of
Right.
our other unit. So we just plug it in. How many meters? There were
600. And how many strides?
482.
And when we do the division, you'll need your calculator.
Mhm.
That is 1.24
That's
meters per
stride.
stride. So
that
a rate,
division sign means per.
yes. And that's what a rate is. A rate involves 2 different
So
units.
it's comparing 2 units.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to skip example 5, and we're going to do that in class. And we're going to go on to example 6, and we're going to actually skip example 6.
Yeah.
And we're going to go on, and we're going to talk about similar figures. And I'm going to let Miss
All
Boyd
right.
talk a little here.
So we're kind of going back to geometry. Similar figures have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. So maybe we have a triangle like this and a triangle like this. If we say they're both congruent, we have an equilateral triangle. However, we have a small one and a big one.
They
Okay.
are similar, but why are they similar?
Because their sides and angles are going to be proportional, which
Right.
we'll talk about. If they're proportional, they're going to be equal. So the ratio of the corresponding sides of similar figures is often called scale factor. So scale factor, again, is just what we have to do so that we can compare
Great. Should we go on to our example?
Yeah.
Here we go.
them.
The
All
right triangle ABC. So let's
I'm
draw
gonna draw a right
ABC.
triangle. Remember, right has that 90
Mhm.
degree. All right, A, B,
And C. And we have another triangle, DEF.
All right, so I have this guy here. So
So
I'm going to say he's D,
D and E.
and F. Remember, if you start A and go down to B, if it's going to be similar, we got to keep it in the same order.
Right.
So D, E, F.
Correct. Well, how about we fill in what we know?
Yeah.
The hypotenuse of ABC. What the
So
heck
remember,
is that?
hypotenuse is directly across from the 90.
Right, is 28. So let's fill that in. And the hypotenuse of DEF is 7.
All right.
If one of the legs of ABC measures 16, well, does it matter? I have 2
No.
legs. Do I care where I put that
Doesn't
16?
matter as long as we put it in the same spot on the other one. for
Correct.
X. So I'm going to say this is 16.
Okay,
So since this is to the left, my X has to go there.
perfect.
All
So
right.
now what are we trying to find? We're trying to find X, the corresponding leg.
All right.
So we have to set up actually a ratio, right?
Yes. So we're going to be going between, the big triangle and the little triangle.
So which one's the big
so
one?
I'm going to put big in red.
Okay, and we're going to put
over the
small,
little triangle,
or little
small
in green.
in green.
Right.
Okay. So again, you're going from one to the other. So I'm going to pick
Let's
the
start with
28.
hypotenuse.
The
Hypotenuse.
hypotenuse.
Okay.
So that was on the big triangle.
So we have 28 over
And what matches it?
7.
The 7.
And we're going to set that equal to, go
Start
back
with
to the big, which is 16, over,
the small,
which is,
x.
and
That's
notice,
what,
what do we have? We have a proportion.
Now we just have to solve.
We cross multiply.
28x
Is equal to 16 times 7, which is 112.
All right. I just did that so they knew where we got the numbers. We got
Mhm.
28x equals, you said 112?
Yep. Should we
All
maybe put it up
Yeah, I
top
was
there
just
because
gonna
we're
move
kind of
it.
running out of room.
All
So let's write 28x
28x
is equal to
equals
112. Divide both sides by 28. And when we do that, we actually get a nice number.
Nice.
4. X is equal
X
to
equals- Oops. Wrong one. I'm jumping the gun. Here we go.
X
X.
is equal to
Equals
4. And actually, to be totally correct, Miss Boyd, what are we missing?
Centimeters.
Yes, you need your units.
So it's just saying, if you look at this, the 28 goes with the 7, the
Mhm.
16 now goes with 4.
Correct.
That makes sense.
So we're going to now skip 8, and we're going to do that in class,
Yeah.
correct? All right. And look at that.
Here
We
are
are
your video
done.
questions.
There's your video questions. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye.